NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration, presents Aeronautics and Space Report.
At NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center in Alabama, 12 astronauts recently began practicing for long-term manned missions into space. These missions will be unique. Unique because it will be the first time a large rocket stage is used, not only as a fuel carrier, but as an orbiting space station for astronauts. The actual rocket looks like this. It serves as the second stage when mated to the uprated Saturn booster. The stage remains in orbit after its initial job is finished. Later, a crew of astronauts meet and join the empty rocket. They will crawl inside the big hydrogen tank and set up living quarters, staying in space from 28 to 56 days or longer. To prepare themselves for missions like these, the 12 astronauts visiting Marshall inspected mock-ups of the orbital workshop and performed a variety of tasks. This is what it looked like inside as the astronauts became familiar with the living working area of the fuel tank. Entire sections of the interior were set up so that the men could practice. Some of the astronauts were strapped into zero-gravity simulators to better understand how it feels to perform while weightless. The orbital workshop is about the size of a 3-bedroom house. When put into operation, the crew will be able to move freely without special clothing or breathing equipment and conduct experiments ranging from Earth resources studies pertaining to the quantities and status of our air, water, minerals, animal, and marine life to solar astronomy observations to learn more about man's role in the long-term exploration of the universe. As part of a recent official visit to the United States, His Majesty the King of Thailand toured NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center in Greenbelt, Maryland. The young monarch spent 2 hours there. He saw a display of scientific and weather satellites similar to those already launched, donned the garb of a space worker for a visit to the clean room, received a briefing on Goddard's tracking and data systems used for both manned and unmanned U.S. missions, and had a demonstration of the worldwide voice communications network, learning firsthand how a satellite-transmitted call can connect countries at the flick of a switch. A royal visit by the King of Thailand. This is not a surgical operation. It is a clean room at Cape Kennedy, a room where technicians check out scientific spacecraft before they fly. Here, one of the Explorer series called IMP, Interplanetary Monitoring Platform. Just recently launched into orbit around the moon, the newly designated Explorer 35 is doing its job, studying the solar wind and interplanetary magnetic field, and reporting on potential radiation hazards to moon landing astronauts. Another recently launched scientific investigator is OGO, Orbiting Geophysical Observatory, this country's 4th in a series. The 1,240-pound OGO is a myriad of booms and panels, some extending out as much as 49 feet. All 20 of the spacecraft's experiments are working well. Experiments to learn more about the Earth's environment by studying the relationship between the Sun and the Earth.
This has been an Aeronautics and Space Report presented by NASA, the National Aeronautics and Space Administration.